now at the heart of Corbett National. This film is a tribute to Jim Corbett and his remarkable legacy, saved for all to enjoy forever. A winter's morning in the forest at Kaladungi, not far from Corbett National Park. Jim Corbett lived here in the small village of Choti. He developed a deep understanding of the surrounding forests and the wild inhabitants. With a rifle slung over his shoulder, Jim would wander alone in the jungle. One day, 3 miles from his house, Jim came across the bachelor of Park, the most sought-after big game hunter. Jim lured the tiger toward his position in a clearing by mimicking the mating call. As the bachelor appeared barely 10 yards away, the bachelor of Paulgar was the biggest tiger Corbett ever shot, measuring 10 feet 7 inches between the pegs. But he was no man-eater, and he marked the end of sport hunting for Jim Corbett. It was 1930.
It was 1930.
Most people know Jim Corbett through his books as a daring hunter who tracked and shot so many man-eating tigers and leopards. But what sort of a man was he? And what made Jim Corbett special? And why did he eventually give up hunting to preserve the very animals that he used to kill? Tucked away in the Himalayan foothills in the state of Uttarakhand lies Nainital, a spectacular hill station with its beautiful eye-shaped lake. A sacred place to Hindus, it attracts thousands and thousands of visitors every year. In 1839, a wealthy British sugar merchant came upon the lake while on a hunting trip. Struck by the beauty of the place, he saw its potential as a resort. Soon, Nainital became a popular hill station for Europeans escaping the heat of the plains. By 1862, it had been declared the summer capital of the northwestern provinces. Among the first settlers were Christopher and Mary Corbett. Christopher was appointed postmaster of Nainital. Edward James Corbett was born on the 25th of July, 1875. Always known as Jim, he was the 8th child of 13. Jim studied at the Oak Openings High School and later at the Diocesan Boys' School, now the renowned Sherwood College. At 2,072 meters above sea level, winters in Nainital can be harsh. To avoid the cold, the Corbett family would retreat to their stone house in Kaladungi at the foot of the mountains and on the edge of the Ganges plain. Young Jim was fascinated by the jungle right behind the house. It was typical Terai foothill forest with tall sal trees rich in wildlife. His frequent excursions with local shikaris gave him a rare understanding of the life in these jungles. He became a good tracker and hunter, but also an observant naturalist. Sadly, his father died when Jim was just 4. Under the guidance of his elder brother Tom, Jim began to hunt in the jungle for peafowl, partridges, and hares to help feed the family. presented with a double-barreled muzzle-loading shotgun when he was just 8.5. He learned fast and bagged his first leopard at the age of 10. It was a difficult time for the family. Somehow his mother had to feed and educate 12 children on a meager pension. Jim aspired to be an engineer, but the need to support the family forced him to find work with the Bengal and Northwestern Railway at the age of 17. Soon promoted, he was sent to Mokama Ghat in Bihar to supervise the transport of goods across the Ganges. Jim spoke Hindi fluently and quickly picked up other local languages. It was a hard life, managing a large workforce in the heat of the plains, but Jim enjoyed the challenge and worked there until he was 39. Whenever he could, Jim returned home to Nainital. There was no paved road, so travelers had to make the steep 15-mile climb up to the hill station on foot. Jim loved to fish for mahjere in the fast-flowing waters of the Ramganga. The most highly prized sport fish of all, mahjere can weigh well over 100 pounds. Tall, shy, and unmarried, Jim was usually to be seen dressed in bush clothing, shorts, knee-high socks, and stout leather shoes. While on holiday in Nainital in 1907, Corbett was told of a man-eater terrorizing the people of Champawat in the Kumaon Hills bordering Nepal. This much-feared tigress had reputedly killed over 436 people. In spite of rewards, all attempts to trap or shoot the tigress had failed. The collector of Nainital asked Jim, now 31, to bring this murderous reign of terror to an end. Jim agreed, providing that all offers of rewards and other hunters were withdrawn from the area. The tigress had struck again, carrying off a young girl. Risking his own life, Corbett followed the blood trail which led into thick undergrowth on the side of the hill. Making sure that the tigress was still there, 300 beaters were organized to flush the tigress out. At last, the devil of Champawat was dead, bringing an end to 4 years of misery and fear for the people. Jim was presented with a rifle by the governor of the United Provinces at a darbar in Nainital. Jim Corbett was now regarded as the only man capable of taking on the most dangerous fight. At the dawn of the 19th century, as many as 40,000 tigers roamed the vast forests of India. The Terai forests of the Himalayan foothills were inaccessible, but this did not discourage sport hunters. The British introduced game laws with reserved blocks for hunting and developed a network of roads and forest rest houses. For a nominal fee, the Forest Department issued licenses to shoot tiger, leopard, bear, and other wild animals. Hunting wildlife was a fashionable sport among the Maharajas, wealthy Indians, and the British Raj alike. The tiger was the most sought after trophy, and shooting one was considered a sign of high status and
वही
courage.
नहीं दे इसका
In 1915, Jim acquired the small village of Choti Halwani, spread over 2,100 acres, for only 1,500 rupees. Jim was very unassuming and never behaved like a big black boy. To the locals, he was known as Corbett, simply Mr. Corbett, as they pronounced it. In 1922, Jim built his own house at the junction for the road up to Nainital. The simplicity of the house reflects the humble man that Corbett was. Travelers and locals often called on Jim for medical help. After the death of Jim's mother in 1924, Jim and his sister Maggie were constant companions to each other. Both chose not to marry. Robin was Jim's favorite spaniel and his constant companion on hunting trips, often alerting his master to danger and saving his life on several occasions. Spaniels are natural retrievers and can easily be trained to assist the hunt. Jim and Maggie felt at one with the people of the village and cared for their welfare. By improving irrigation and providing high-quality seeds, Jim encouraged them to grow better crops and fruit trees. However, they were living right on the edge of the forest. Consequently, their produce was under constant attack from wild animals, wild boar in particular. Jim helped the villagers to build a stone wall around the perimeter of the fields, nearly 2 meters high and over 8.5 kilometers long. It took 10 years to build. Corbett presented a gun to the headman of the village, Sher Singh, for protection against dangerous animals. Today, Sher Singh's son Trilok Singh still maintains this precious gift in working order. Jim also built a chowpan so that the villagers would have a place to gather. By 1917, the great losses of the First World War required ever more recruits. Jim joined the British Army as captain. A year later, he was promoted major. Jim always returned to his house at Choti Halwani. 80-year-old Devban fondly remembers his association with Corbett. His father assisted Jim on several hunting trips.
उन्होंने सिर्फ आदम और जैसे जानवर जैसे गाय भैंस बकरी वगैरह ऐसे जो शेर थे या बाघ थे उनको मारा अन्यथा उन्होंने आप जैसे कहना खींच करके उन्होंने फिल्म को दिया.
Around 1923, the small village of Rudraprayag on the pilgrimage route to Hindu shrines at the twin sources of the Ganges made headlines around the world. For 8 years, a man-eating leopard had been active in the area, killing 125 pilgrims and villagers. The terrified residents were living under the shadow of a particularly cunning man-eater that had no fear of people and had been skillfully avoiding hunting. Jim Corbett was called for once again, with the constant fear of attack by an animal that was both elusive and ferocious. Jim, now in his 50s, was up against his toughest 40 years. After months of strenuous tracking in the mountains and nights waiting up for the killer, Jim was exhausted. Finally, in the spring of 1926, Jim was able to lure the leopard towards a tethered goat. At last, an end to 8 long years of terror. But Jim took no joy from taking the leopard's life. The government recognized Jim's contribution in eliminating man-eaters, and he was awarded the Kesar Gold Medal in 1928. He was made an honorary magistrate of Kanapur, a successful estate agency in Nainital, and owns several properties, including Kearney
क्या हो गया
House,
भाई?
where they spent many of their later years. The present owners have preserved it as a living museum. It is still full of Corbett's possessions, including Jim's favorite iron bed. Major
बुला के लाओ.
Jim was well liked and respected in Nainital society.
जा जा जा.
Elected to senior office on the local council, he was now in a position to introduce several bylaws for the protection of forests, lakes, and wildlife. A great friend of Jim Corbett, Sir Malcolm Hayden, returned to his post as Governor of the United Provinces in 1933. Jim organized a tiger shoot for Sir Malcolm at Carleton. One tiger and several leopards were shot. But Jim was becoming concerned by the decline in the tiger population and the loss of their habitat, which he voiced at various important gatherings.